concerns and also sanctions on the Football Kenya Federation by CAF, what we got is to see is that fan zones were established. They started with 7. Suddenly, there are more than a dozen countrywide. Mombasa had theirs, Kisumu had theirs, Homa Bay had one right next to the lake. And that was at an amphitheater. Nairobi's fan zones, they grew from 6, there were about 11 or 12. You can see the fan has finally been integrated in the entire sporting ecosystem. That's a conversation that we're going to have. And talking about conservation, on the 30th and 31st, there's going to be a bike fest at Hell's Gate National Park. We shall be speaking with the organizers of that event, and also we shall be getting to hear from some of those who will be competing. So 5 races over 2 days, and it's a fun festival that is going to encompass everyone. So that's a conversation that you're going to be having over the next 2 hours right here on Sports Check, and also as we keep up with our general news cycle. Our reporters are out there, so remember, you won't miss any bit of it, including the budget preparation process that we know is just being discussed at the National Treasury today. So straight into our first conversation, and it is all about Chan Pamoja 2024, the quarterfinals, and I'm joined by football data specialist John Agrotino. John, good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
And so far, before we even get into the quarterfinals one by one, your general experience and review of the group phase of Chan. 19 teams, 3 groups with 5 teams each, and with 4.
I mean, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful experiment that CAF have done with the 3 co-hosts. I've been to like 4 of those group games, and I'll tell you what, they were absolutely beautiful, especially from a fan's perspective. I think that is what football has been lacking for a long time. And I'm just feeling really sad that we should have really hosted a few of those in the past. But overall, it's been such a good display of football. The fans have turned out in numbers, and I think it can only get better from here. Yeah.
We'll be talking about the fan experience much later with Richard Wendoy, but just give us what you feel, about the reception of the fan zones that came up.
Wow. The fan zones have been amazing. I did not know that Homa Bay would have something that beautiful. I know the amphitheater thing, nobody really understood what it was, I would say. But when they brought in that big screen there, and I was just speaking to my dad, fortunately, who lives in Homa Bay, he tells me it was packed as early as 2 p.m., 1 p.m. There were already fans there just waiting. Fortunately, they were watching it on KBC as well. So I think KBC, yeah, for sure. So I think it's an absolutely good thing. We have taken football now to the people. And you actually realize that a lot of these people have actually been starved of watching football, especially in a group setup, which is absolutely beautiful. So I would say, going forward, I think we'd have more of this, especially with the Africa Cup of Nations coming here in 2 years' time. I really can't wait to see that. It's going to be awesome.
And one of the reasons why we have these fan zones is that there were concerns, about crowding at the Moi International Sports Center around any time the Harambee Stars had matches going on. And what happened? They brought in the fan zones, and somehow...
Yeah, it's worked out really well.
It's an oddity.
Yes, it's worked out so well, especially the one behind Kasarani Stadium, just down there. You can imagine how beautiful it's worked out. Also, it has made sure that even the police and the security, when they are getting fans into the stadium, it's much, much easier, because the other times we always had people who did not have tickets intentionally come with the hope that somehow, somewhat, they will find their way in. You know what happened in that game where they broke down that part of the gates or
gate
fence.
6.
Yes. So I think it's worked really well. You look at the CBD, it's amazing just to see all those amount of people just in town, just cheering for their national team. And I'm just trying to imagine, even for the finals, even if it won't be their national team, there'll still be a lot of people just coming out to watch football. Yeah.
All right. So we'll be getting into football matters now, but let's over to the National Treasury, where at the moment speaking is Honorable Samuel Atandi, and this is the launch of the budget-making process.
Reforms. As Parliament, we think that these reforms have not been activated sufficiently, and we are looking at this financial to see that these reforms are actually, working. I want to urge the sector working groups to fully embrace zero-based budgeting for the financial year 2026-2027, ensuring that its application is evident in the budget estimates tabled by April 30th, 2026. This approach will ensure that every expenditure is justified, inefficiencies are eliminated, and resources are allocated to high-priority programs. Parliament, through a resolution of Budget and Appropriations Committee, has directed the Intergovernmental Technical Relations Committee to unbundle all devolved functions still being implemented by the national government. This directive aims to curb unnecessary duplication of functions between the national and county governments, particularly in the health, agriculture, water, and other sectors. Honorable CS, we have been undergoing painful mediation exercise between the National Assembly and the Senate over Division of Revenue Bill. And Honorable CS, we know that there's no really big room for us to continue to transfer more resources to the counties. So the only option left for us is to ensure that all those functions that are currently being handled by national government and should be devolved, they need to be done quickly so that we avoid this painful fighting over transfer of more resources. We expect Division of Revenue Bill 2026 to incorporate provisions to guarantee that counties are allocated devolved resources that are presently held by the national government in a manner that is appropriate. I urge the National Treasury and sector working groups to ensure that national government resources are prudently allocated, avoiding overlaps with county functions. This alignment will ensure that service delivery, optimize resource use, and strengthen our devolved system of governance as envisioned in the Constitution. Addressing pending bills, Honorable CS, remains a critical focus as these have constrained liquidity for businesses, particularly small and medium enterprises. The pending bill verification committee is auditing bills accumulated from the 2005 to 2022, and clearing this will inject liquidity into the SME sector, which supports over 60,000 enterprises and millions of jobs. The sector working groups must give priority and allocate resources to expedite this process, fostering economic growth and building trust in our public finance system. Honorable CS, public participation is the heartbeat of our budget process. I call upon the sector working groups to engage actively with citizens, civil society, and the private sector during the upcoming public sector hearings. These platforms will ensure that the budget for financial year 2026-2027 reflects the priorities of all Kenyans. The adoption of zero-based budgeting this year further underscores our commitment to scrutinizing our expenditure, eliminating inefficiencies, and maximizing value for money. Honorable CS, you remember that for the last 2 financial years, there has been conflict between Parliament and the budget as tabled by National Treasury. I tend to think that if we enhance public participation better, then going forward we are not going to see conflict where the budget presented in the National Assembly is altered, or changed by members of Parliament. I think this is something that we are committed to ensuring that we have a budget that is properly aligned and that there's no conflict during the budget making process. Thank you. I have 1 minute. In closing, I would like to give gratitude to the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning, Principal Secretaries, and all stakeholders for their support.
Is the Honorable Samuel Latandi speaking at KICC, and this is as the National Treasury launches the 2026-2027 budget process. We'll be going back when the Cabinet Secretary to National Treasury, the Honorable John Mbadi, will be giving his remarks. We'll get back to our conversation, and remember, Chan Iko KBC, and we are doing a full review of the quarterfinal phase with John Agri Otieno. And John, yes, let's get straight to, first of all, the match between Kenya and, Madagascar.
Yeah.
That was played on Friday evening. A lot of anticipation, but your takeouts from that game first.
Well, I think generally that just showed our level of football, where it is. That was like a honest display of where we are. I know there's the issue of a goal that was disallowed.
All right. Okay. So let me interrupt this because we've got Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi speaking at the moment. So let's move over to the KICC, where the National Treasury is having the launch of the 2026-2027 budget process.
Then I will give what may sound as off-the-cuff remarks, but generally to give a summary of the performance of our economy and generally where we need to go to, or what we are trying to do to make sure that our economy is sound. So the principal secretary is present here today, including my three principal secretaries, Chris Kipto, Boniface Makoha, and of course Odede. The other principal secretaries present and other counting officers, Chairperson Budget and Appropriations Committee. I don't see representation from Council of Governors. I don't know whether there is any in the room. Commission on Revenue Allocation was also supposed to be represented. I am not sure whether there is representation from that commission. I know there are development partners. I salute you. The private sector representatives, the civil society representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's with great honor that I stand before you today to officially launch the sector working groups, which is a pivotal step in our national budget and planning process for the fiscal year 2026-2027 and the medium term. This initiative is integral to our broader strategic framework, which is aimed at ensuring economic sustainability of our economic growth, social development, and effective public service delivery. I recently issued guidelines on the preparation of the financial year 2026-2027 and the medium-term budget in accordance with Article 220 of our Constitution and Section 35E and Section 36 of the Public Finance Management Act. It is further to these guidelines that we are here today to launch the 2026-27 and medium-term budget preparation process. So, ladies and gentlemen, the financial year 2026-27 and medium-term budget, which we are launching today, is being prepared within the context of a global economy that is facing significant challenges due to the following factors. One, rising trade barriers across the globe, financial tightening, and policy uncertainties which threaten growth prospects. Further, we are also faced with persistent risks which include trade policy escalations, cautious consumer and business behavior, intensification of geopolitical tensions, and sustained high inflation, potentially exceeding expectations. However, reversing trade restrictions early could stimulate growth and mitigate inflationary pressures. I am mentioning this because you have seen the unpredictability of the issues of tariffs between the two leading economies, which basically dictates where our economic growth would go. So on the global scene, as my peers has mentioned, the growth is expected to moderate at 3% in 2025 from 3.3% before slightly improving to 3.1% in 2026. In Sub-Saharan Africa, again, that has been spoken to by my peers. I don't want to repeat. However, the growth outlook is supported by factors such as increased private consumption, ongoing public investment in infrastructure, and a gradual revival of the services sector, particularly tourism, in our economy. However, several risks could impede this growth trajectory, which include spillovers from global trade disruptions, declining external demand, volatility in commodity prices driven by geopolitical tensions, and limited fiscal capacity in many countries, which may lead to tighter financing conditions. Our economy is expected to recover in 2025. I think my peers spoke to last year's economic growth, which was lower at 4.7%. In the first quarter of this year, we have seen a rebound at 4.9%. We expect better performance later, although we had a challenge with the demonstrations and riots that took place end of June and beginning of July. But we expect a better performance in the last quarters of the year. And so our focus is to have a 5.3% economic growth, which is supported by agricultural, the strong agricultural and manufacturing sector. Our manufacturing sector has shown very clear signs of recovery, together even with mining sector, which underperformed last year, mining and minerals. So we are also expecting a robust service industry, macroeconomic stability, ongoing public investment, and high business confidence. And the public investment is mostly in the construction sector and the road sector as well. However, Kenya's economic outlook still faces both external and domestic risks. Further, extreme weather may negatively impact agriculture, infrastructure, and food security. So the government is monitoring these risks closely and will therefore take necessary measures to safeguard macroeconomic stability. Our recent fiscal experiences have been instructive. One, the withdrawal of the 2024 Finance Bill last year compelled us to forego additional revenue measures, prompting implementation of austerity measures that prioritize essential social sectors such as education, health, and social protection. In fact, last year was the most, I think, challenging year in the recent past, apart from the COVID years. Why? Because apart from losing revenue-raising measures which the government had factored in their plan, there were a lot of expenditure pressures that came from the health sector, where we adopted a new system of funding our healthcare program from October last year. And again, we also had a lot of challenges in the education sector. The collective bargaining agreements were, their implementation phase just began last year. So there were issues with COPET, NAT. We also had issues with the lecturer strikes. There were a lot of challenges, but I'm happy that we were able to surmount those challenges. So these measures, though challenging, reinforce the importance of financial judiciousness and resource economization in our governance framework. I therefore direct all MDS to ensure that the fiscal prudence and resource optimization we instituted are sustained and embedded in our culture of public service. So in the upcoming budget, will be anchored on in the fourth medium-term plan and aligned with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The strategic focus remains on fostering economic growth through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, emphasizing on inclusive development. So in this regard, our focus will still remain the 5 pillars: agricultural transformation, MSMEs, housing and settlement, healthcare, and digital infrastructure, which includes creative economy investments. For our fiscal framework, we are structuring our fiscal framework around key targets, which include GDP of 5.3%, inflation maintained at the midpoint with plus or minus 2.5%. We are also anchoring our framework on the projection that we will realize 17.2% of GDP in terms of revenue collection. The other projection is that we will be able to maintain our expenditure below 22.2%, down from 22.7%. The other assumption is that our fiscal deficit will be reduced. Remember, in 2023-24, the fiscal deficit was 4.7. But then in 2024-25, the year that ended, that rose to 5.8. It may be looked at as a negative, but I will tell you that if you consider other factors, we are 4.7%, but with a carryover of 218 billion, which is about 1.3% of GDP. If you add, that is the carryover of what we were supposed to have supported or released exchequer to, which includes county governments, 31 billion, 26 billion that was supposed to go to pensions, and there was also CDF 13 billion, and MDAs unfunded exchequer request of over 158 billion. If you add all that, that was 1.3% of GDP. If you added that to 4.7, you are at 6% of GDP. So in real terms, 2023-24, we should have closed by a budget deficit of 6% of GDP. I am happy to announce that the 2024-25, we closed the year with no carryovers. That the counties, we released all the exchequer requests to counties, including the arrears for 23-24. That we also released the exchequer requests for CDF, including the carryover of 13 billion. And we managed to settle all the pension requests that were processed. And we transferred exchequer requests to MDS almost in total. So then it means that our performance in 2024-25, in my view, in terms of budget deficit, it was better than 2023-24. So in recent financial planning reforms, innovative budgeting approaches have been adopted by the government to enhance fiscal management and strategic allocation of resources. One of these is the zero-based budgeting, which this financial year, we should not have any excuse why we cannot adopt zero-based budgeting. We piloted it in the last financial year. Now this financial year, the 2026-27, we must now actualize full implementation of zero-based budgeting. 2025-26, there were excuses. Now 26-27, there will be no excuses. So MDS should note that each of the program will compete for funding on an equal basis, forcing elimination of inefficiencies, duplications, and misallocation of resources. So this time there will be competition for resources. You must justify the resources that you are requesting from your sector working groups. In recognition that many challenges transcend sector boundaries, we will promote intersectoral collaboration to develop integrated solutions. We cannot afford to have different arms of government working in silos on the same problem. MDS are therefore required to identify and eliminate overlapping functions and propose joint programs that deliver greater impact at a lower cost. So we are not going to entertain any more overlapping functions between or among MDS. You must identify them and eliminate them for a seamless and smooth implementation of our program. We are running one government, we are not running many governments. So we must avoid working in silos. Something that I need to emphasize on is public participation. It remains a cornerstone of our fiscal policy. We are committed to fostering a participatory approach, engaging stakeholders at all levels, and ensuring their inputs influence budget decisions. Treasury has already been leading from the front, and we are even going to do better in 2026-27 in terms of engaging Kenyans in budget process and budget implementation. And therefore, MDS, you have a responsibility to engage Kenyans. We must avoid the culture of thinking that we know what is good for Kenyans. We must allow Kenyans to participate in the budget-making process to decide where their resources should be allocated to. And so, all your requests will be subjected to that test, public participation. If you are not conducting public participation, I'm sorry, you may not get the resources that you are requesting from the National Treasury. It is essential to proactively identify and involve all key stakeholders, document their contributions, and clearly illustrate how their feedback has influenced the fiscal budget proposal. So all the proposals that you'll be making, you have a responsibility to demonstrate how the feedback that you've got from Kenyans is influencing that budget proposal. This approach will ensure transparency. It will also enforce inclusivity and accountability, thereby strengthening the integrity of the decision-making process and fostering trust among all parties involved. I strongly encourage all accounting officers and sector working groups to view this process not merely as a procedural requirement, but as a fundamental aspect of sound governance. So before I conclude, I wanted to mention a few things. Then I will come back to make my conclusion. Listening to the PS, Chris Kipto, and PS Makoha, you will realize that we still have a long way to go to realize economic stability in this country. But I must also say that we have made some very good progress, that if we work together as a country, then we will realize economic stability in this country in the shortest time that we never imagined. We only need first to love our country and believe in our country. Sometimes when I listen to people make their contributions, I listen a lot also to TV talk shows. I also read newspaper and I see people's opinions. And I respect their opinions. But I think we also need to acknowledge and accept that a lot has happened even in the past 1 year. Let me just mention a few things. You'll remember that in 2022, we had inflation rate at an unimaginable percentages, 9.6%. Yesterday, I saw someone write that inflation has gone down because we rebased our economy. I remember when we rebased our economy last, it was several years back. And we haven't rebased our economy since that time. So these are likes for likes. So 9.6 has come down to 4.1. To me, clearly, that also reflects a reduction in cost of living. Because Chris gave you figures and analysis, and we have them. The cost of the basic commodities in 2023 and 2025. But even if you go back to 2022, it was even worse. So coming from 2022, end of 2022 to 2023, most of the basic commodities coming to 2025 their prices have gone down. From the basic, which is the maize flour, fuel, sugar, we have the data. Cost of living is not determined in political rallies. Cost of living will not be determined in churches. Cost of living is determined by real data collected, collated, and disseminated. And the data is there. If the cost of a 2-kilogram packet of maize flour was 218 in 2022, you cannot change it to 105. And if it is today 176 or 184, you cannot change it to 100. So these are real data. That is the cost of living. Cost of living is about cost of basic commodities. And the statistics are there. And I don't think there is anyone who can dispute that. And if you want to know that that is the reality, early 2023, when we really felt that the cost of basic commodities could not be afforded by ordinary people, we had sufurias on our heads. Today, how many people are in the streets with the sufurias on their heads? I don't see them. It means now the cost of what was being cooked by sufuria has gone down. So that is what I'm saying in a nutshell. There is another point that I want to mention. Allow me to just open the page where it is. The Kenya's economic outlook has been facing challenges mostly as a result of debt payment and debt servicing cost. That's a fact. You have been informed that now we are consuming about 48% of our ordinary revenue is going into servicing our debts in terms of interests. That is not sustainable. And we have recognized that as a risk area. However, I want to tell you that the government has also done a lot to make sure that we reduce the debt risks that was facing this country, or has been facing this country. Early last year, there was panic in our economy. The panic was that we were likely to default on paying our debt, meeting our debt obligation. there was a $2 billion Eurobond coming to maturity by June, and was supposed to be a bullet payment without any plan at all to pay it. And therefore, there was a panic early in the year. The shilling lost ground, almost 165 to the dollar. But because of what the government did then, and what we have continued to do in terms of managing our liability and the debts, first, the shilling appreciated now to around 129.2 to the dollar, and has stayed around 128 to 130 for over 1 year. I hear some people say, is this real? The reality is, it is real. If you want to know that it is real, look at the forex reserves. You see, the shilling would lose ground when there is a threat to the reserves that we have in the country. And our reserves are at 5.2 months of import cover, up from 3.8 a year ago, and up from 2.3 months of import cover in 2022, when this administration is no longer new. But when this administration came into office, we had forex reserve to import cover of less than 3 months, which is the minimum requirement. Today, we have the 5.2. And that clearly demonstrates. Another reason why you are seeing us doing relatively well is because our exports. There is something that has happened in our exports, especially the coffee and horticulture. We are exporting more. Exports grew at 7.7%. That growth has narrowed the current account balance from 2.6% of GDP in 2022 to 1.3% now. That is halving the deficit, reducing the deficit by half. What has that done to us? Plus the diaspora remittances, and plus the fact that we were able early this year to foresee and project that there will be a Eurobond falling due for payment in 2027 May, that we must deal with it early so that we don't create another panic in the economy. We did that early. We have eliminated the risk. And we were very timely. In fact, most countries are wondering. When I meet with my colleagues, they are saying, how did you foresee this? The moment we went into the market and managed our 2027 liability, the markets have closed. If we delayed even for a month, we wouldn't have succeeded. So there is something positive, something progressive that is happening, which cannot be done in the streets. It is done by clear and strategic thinking. And that is why S&P last Friday upgraded us. These are not people who just upgrade you because they like you. These are people who have considered all the factors, and they give reasons why they have upgraded Kenya from B- to B plain, if you want, or if you like, with a positive outlook. Why did they do that? They have cited, first, improved current account balance, two, which is informed by exports and diaspora remittances, and three, they have said clearly and categorically that the government's decision early this year to liability manage the Eurobond that was falling due in 2027 has given Kenya a positive outlook. And can't you see that as a positive for this government? That is positive. And I want to repeat, that is something you don't do in political rallies. That is something you can never do in church. That is something that you do by pragmatically thinking and progressive mind to forecast and project what is likely to create a risk in the economy. Let me move quickly. So I have mentioned, now look at the lending rates, and I will tie the lending rates to the government borrowing rates. 1 year ago, the 91-day treasury bill was trading at 16%. For government to access funds by issuance of 91-day treasury bill, we had to offer 16% as interest. Last Thursday, it was at exactly 8%. 50% of what was there 1 year ago. And even the 182-day Treasury bill is at 8.07% last Thursday. This Thursday, it may even come down below 8%. Now, that has done something. One, it has also helped in reducing the lending rates to the private sector. In November 2024, the average rate was 17.2. July this year, it is at 15.3. And this, you can see, has effect in the private sector, where the credit uptake had declined to negative 2.9%. It has now gone to 3.3%, and we expect it to rise. Those are the economic fundamentals that would help the economy grow. It is not about fights in the streets. It's not about fights in funerals. It is about what you do to help the economy pick up. I think I'm just remaining with one or two things to mention, and I finish. We have, because of the tightening fiscal space, we have also decided to look at other innovative ways of financing our budget and financing infrastructure. One of them is the PPP programs. I want MDS to embrace PPP. Before you ask us for extra budgetary allocation, exhaust the possibilities of raising funds through PPP, especially commercially viable projects. We now have Rironi Mau Summit in the pipeline, progressing well. I am sure it will be concluded soon. That will be a major infrastructure project in this country. The other one that I would mention, and my PS visited it recently, that is Galana Kulalu, is in progress under PPP. We have a number under the energy sector, and I want to encourage all MDAs, including even county governments, come up with projects that can be funded through PPP programs. We are also, I will not talk much about securitization and privatization. Privatization is not selling state assets. It is releasing some shares and retaining some to allow for private sector participation. Because private sector participation in commercially viable state-owned enterprises would have immense benefits, one of which is to improve efficiency and allow for more access to capital and reduces bureaucracy. I will tell you, just the other day, I had an issue with Kenya Pipeline, which we want to privatize. And the issue was this, that Kenya Pipeline has had a system that they are using for procurement. It is an electronic system. But because we have given instruction to all government ministries, departments, and agencies, and state corporations, they have now to abandon that system and get into e-procurement. However, this is a company that is out there that we want to sell shares on. And once we sell the shares, they will go back to another system, which is not a government system. But they cannot do that because they need approval. So they have to come all the way to the Treasury for approval. That is the kind of bureaucracy that we don't need. And you know, right now, they need to procure what is going to help them to service the supplies to Uganda. The more they delay in making that decision, we are likely to lose that market. So you need a faster decision-making in such a company. You cannot realize it with the government bureaucracies. We need to face it. So you need some of these state-owned enterprises which are commercially viable. We need to release some of the shares to the private sector. We will even be deepening the capital market. Nairobi Securities Exchange will perform better with more IPOs, with more companies being released. So let us not resist. Let us not be complacent Just because this is the way we have been doing things, we want to be very comfortable. Because KBC is making some 4 billion every year. Yet it can make even 15 billion. So we want to retain our 4 billion, 3 billion, which is 100%. What if it makes 15 billion and we have only 40% shareholding? That will be 6 billion to the exchequer in terms of dividend. So that is my request, that we as a country embrace new thinking, fresh thinking. Lastly, we are employing a number of reforms. And these reforms are meant to cut on expenditure, because there is wastage in government. I can see the Auditor General is here. I had not recognized her. Nancy is here. Her books are full of audit queries around expenditure. And we know what we are doing when it comes to procurement. You know what you people do in your offices. You know how your procurement people pluck papers from documents that are submitted by suppliers. And then in evaluation, you tell them you are not compliant. You are not tax compliant. Information you can even get from KRA yourself. So someone has quoted 1 billion less, but is denied opportunity to do business with government because you want another person to win that tender. And so you will manipulate the documents. You will pluck those papers. That is what we are trying to cure with e-procurement. And this e-procurement, you people must implement it. This resistance I'm seeing, you will just have to stop it. Oh, it is not working. Gee, what? I am not going to buy that narrative. I know many people are frustrating this system. We are not going to allow it. You better embrace the system and get going. Otherwise, you will not procure. Hiyo ni ukweli. We will save close to 200 billion if we implement this system. Already, we have registered suppliers of 7,286 by 25th of August. We are doing weekly training to suppliers every Thursday on webinars to these suppliers. Let me give you the statistics. We were targeting to train 840 for state departments. We have trained 804. That is 95% achievement. So if kama umebaki hapo nje, remember you are just in the 5%. County executive and assemblies was 715. We have trained 700, 98%. Only 15 have not been trained. State corporations was 1,600. We have trained 844. This one is low at 53%. And state corporations webinar, we were to train 6,400. We have trained 3,297, 51%. Those who have not been trained, please get to the training. As we speak, what we are doing right now is pulling budget from IFMIS to EGP system. Head of procurement to create all organization users. We are going to embark on preparation and approval of the annual procurement and disposal plans. That will be done. So we must integrate budget and requisitions. Integration with IFMIS is complete. So if this has not happened, start it. Commitment of POs and payments. You should start that system. Tomorrow, I'm going to chair a meeting where the service provider will be present. we are going to deal with all those teething problems, all those challenges. Any new system must face challenges. So don't use that as an excuse to kill this initiative. You will not kill it. So you better adopt. Align yourself. Accounting officers, I hope you are listening to me. Align yourself with e-procurement. There will be no excuses. It's going to help this country, and I'm not going to let this country down by dropping the ball on this one. Even on integrating the payroll system, counties are still resisting. County executives. I want to tell them and my team, you better listen. This thing of saying that we are only going to start with MDAs and then county assemblies as we wait for executives, county executives to be ready. When will they be ready? There is no justification. They must also be onboarded. We must integrate the payroll system. This idea of ghost workers, we must find a way of eliminating ghost workers. You go to counties, there are parallel payroll systems. Some manual, some casual, what? To the extent the salaries that are paid in counties are over 50%. Some counties pay 55% of their revenue of what they get, both from the national government and on-source revenue. They pay 55% to staff. They have employed people who should not even be in the payroll. Directors of everything. Border. Director. Unakuta kila mtu ako na file kubwa kubwa. We have so many stuff, a lot of wastage. We must bring that to an end. And then you recover people's salary and you don't even remit to NSSF, to pension funds, and then you are telling us you are not ready. Why are you not ready? So my team at the Treasury, and this is an instruction, county executives must be onboarded the soonest possible. This month we are paying MDAs and county assemblies using integrated payroll system. I hope there is no more excuse. My PS is looking at me. This is instruction, daktari. Hii ni instruction. Uangalie hiyo imefanyika. And then, if we are giving county executives, it should not be more than 1 month. Hii maneno ya 2026, ikome. There is no justification. We can onboard county executive also. We are doing very well with the pension. Let us make sure we conclude that. All these reforms, if we can carry them, there will be enough money for you people who are always crowding in my office, making calls to me that you need budget adjustment. Now you need budget adjustment and you don't want us to free money which is being stolen. If you want us to help you, help us. We free this money which people are stealing to you to implement government programs for the benefit of the people of Kenya. I don't think that is a big ask. That's a very small ask from you. So, I think I'm done. I am done. I have made myself very clear. In closing, I want to emphasize that the success of the sector working groups depends on our collective effort, as I mentioned, dedication and shared vision for a prosperous Kenya. I urge all participants to approach this task with professionalism, integrity, and a commitment to excellence. I know my peers umesimama, but let me tell you, I want to just plead with you. Help National Treasury. We are going through a lot of stress. My friend there at the end, PS for special programs, will come to me when there are problems across the country. I can't let him down. Because when there is an emergency, you must respond to emergency. Interior, there will be a problem somewhere, God forbid. They will rush to come to me. We are not giving enough money for capitation. We have not been doing it for 7 years, and I have no apologies to make. We have sat with the PSS for education and the CS for education to look at that gap under the instruction of the president. And we have seen the gap. We want to get more resources to capitation so that our children can go to school. We want to give more money to Higher Education Loans Board. And by the way, tomorrow we are releasing the money. I hope, Jane, that is correct. Ashuka. Yes, PS, that is correct. We are giving the money, the 17 billion plus 5.9, which is for examination. That is 23 billion. And we should also give money, look for money for help to give this week so that our children go to school. So tomorrow, money for capitation will go to the Ministry of Education. But it is not enough. So I want you to help National Treasury by making more resources available. We educate our children, we provide enough money for health. Primary health care has 13.1 billion, but we need 19.5. So we still lack 6.4, which we must put there, because Kenyans must be treated when they fall sick. So instead of us manipulating procurement to make more money for us and we earn some decent salary, it may not be too decent, but it is reasonable, and from taxpayers' money, let us make money available to Kenyans to get essential services. And this government is bold enough. I am ending there. This government is I don't think there is any government which will be as bold as this government. A government which in 1 year decides to implement universal health cover, which defeated all the governments from independence. And then you criticize and you say one term because of trying to fix a problem that has been with us since independence. Then we have also implemented education reforms the same year. We have employed 76,000 teachers 3 years. And we are employing another 24,000 this year. In 4 years, we are going to employ 100,000, a target which had been planned for 5 years. This government is bold to start even housing program. Very bold government. So if you are working for this government, help this bold government to achieve its objective. Otherwise, I want to end there, because if I go beyond that, you know where we'll end. Thank you very much, and I want to thank you for coming in big numbers. I never imagined that we'll have this kind of turnout. Thank you very much. This clearly demonstrates that you are interested in moving this program forward, this budget process forward, and you have demonstrated that you are keen in managing your various units as accounting officers. May God bless you. Asanteni sana.
The Cabinet Secretary to the Treasury, the Honorable John Mbadi, speaking as the launch of the 2026-2027 budget preparation process at the KICC. So that's part of the stories that we'll be covering today. And we get back to Sports Check, and introducing our sign language interpreter, it's Susan Thuku. Well, I'm with John Agriotino. Football data is what he plays around with, and it's about CHAN 2024. And let's get straight to this.
Yeah.
We're talking about Kenya playing against Madagascar.
Yes.
That was semi-final number 1.
Quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal number 1.
Yes.
Let's just, your take on that match.
Well,
and also, I know you had the opportunity to
Yes.
watch the technical study group discussion.
Yes,
that we
I
had,
did, yeah.
And with insights from that.
Yeah, well, I actually think, to be very honest, that was it just exposed the level of our league, where it is right now. And just like we're speaking off camera and saying, Kenya Police should be looking at this type of games and really making sure that they understand what type of opposition they'll be facing in the CAF Champions League, and also the other teams that will also be going to the CAF Confederations Cup. But generally, it shows that we still need to put in a lot of hard work into our league system, especially the local players, and improve their level. But away from that, you look at Madagascar, I would say for all the like 70 or 80 minutes that we were actually on the ascent, I actually think they never looked bothered at all. They were very calm, they were very relaxed. I think they have done this in the past. They've been in 3rd place in the last CHAN championships. So that experience literally played a good part for them to be able to get there. And away from that is the other game. I think you asked me to speak about the other one as well. Uganda.
No, I'll be coming
okay,
to that.
all right.
Mm-hmm. With the background of what was given as an assessment by the technical study group last week, Wednesday,
Yes.
how then would you see what the deficiencies that were picked from the Kenyan side?
Well, In my estimation, I would say one of our biggest problems is, I think, it's called the fast touch. Yeah, literally when the ball hits you, it's like it goes away a meter away, which I think is a really, really big problem. Just the receiving of the ball. Again, also, I'm looking at our goalkeeping department. Away from, I think the last time we had a proper out-and-out number one, I would say it's like 5-6 years ago for the national team. As it is right now, we are still gambling around with it. We have not had one goalkeeper who really stands out tall. So I think those are the two biggest deficiencies I saw so far. Going forward, again...
Actually, we talked about goalkeepers.
Yes.
The goalkeeper of the group stage
Yes.
was Brian Omondi.
Yes.
He was picked by the technical study group.
Yes.
And he had won 2 Man of the Match awards,
Yes.
considering that Toldo of Madagascar had
3 years. And you see, Toldo is how old? 39 years old. So he's played this for a long period of time. Again, now that just shows you again, the level of competition probably he has might not be having some better number twos, so that's why probably he's still there for long. But again, for us as well, remember we are coming from a point where we had a goalkeeper who had an issue with other things. That's why we are now moving forward to other keepers. So now the pool is widening, but nobody really stands out of the group. Yeah.
So overall, for Madagascar, what is your take home?
I actually think for them it's the experience. That is what they showed us on that day. Their goalkeeper stands out really tall. Their captain is really having a great performance in the center of defense. But away from that, I also think that we gave them that opportunity. They did not have it for like 80 minutes. We literally just gave it to them. And again, for these teams, when you give them that opportunity, they'll be able to take it. And so Kenya going forward needs to make sure that those opportunities are not given to the opponent, especially when you are leading 1-0. And for countries like Madagascar, they keep on doing what they're doing. The last time out, they were third. Now they'll be looking forward to getting into the final. Yeah.
And sure enough, I can tell you that for Madagascar, they will be playing in semi-final number 1. That match is going to be kicking off at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. And they will be playing against Sudan, the team that played in quarterfinal number 4.
Yes.
And it is that side that, to many, shocked the continent, especially after hammering the happy-go-lucky Nigerian side. 4-0. The biggest winning margin we have had at Chan 2024. Throughout the tournament. But it is this game of small margins that we saw in the quarterfinals that we'll be getting into once we take this short break. Quarterfinals 2, 3, and 4 in an outlook of the semis.
Torach. There's a slip up here, could be an opportunity for a counter. Good pick up here from Cisse, tries to drift his way in. Serun Joji lost his footing and quite nearly handed the initiative to the Lions of Terenga. Alan Okello's timely intervention doing just enough. Really bounced out here. Cisse with clear daylight in front of him. Alan Okello putting in a defensive shift here.
Dukani usitishe unga, itisha Kavagara.
Meet the experts who empower you with competent skills at craft, certificate, and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu letu.
Wahome turns left, fires home. Kenya lead.
The ongoing CHAN 2024 is intriguing.
Well, after the VAR check, it's been ruled out. It's not a goal.
CAF's flagship tournament attracts over 1.4 billion TV audiences and 2.2 billion digital streams, making it one of the top 4 global football events.
Full time, and Kenya have done the unthinkable. They go undefeated through the group stages in the group of death.
To our esteemed sponsor and partner, numbers don't lie. To the 12th man in Kenya and globally, it is not boasting if you can back it up. We salute you. Let's keep doing it the way we know how. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Habari muhimu ni zile zinazoathiri maisha yako, na zinapojiri tuko hapo.
Tunakuletea habari zinazojiri nchini na kimataifa.
Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa mwaliko ya mwingine.
Mambo ya matibabu isiwe starehe ya watu wadosi.
Tunakufahamisha kila wakati ili uwe tayari kwa yajayo.
We will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Katika ulimwengu unaosonga kwa kasi, usahihi wa habari ni muhimu.
The only thing that has changed, Senator Khalwale, is that you are defending the indefensible. If you allow me as a bullfighter, I'll fix him here and now, and it will be sorted out. You were doing very well until you brought out your character of bullfighting.
Tunakupa habari sahihi na zisizoegemea upande wowote.
Pindi tu walioteuliwa wataidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa.
Na ni hapa ndipo
Darubini,
kila siku ya Jumatatu na Jumanne
saa 1 jioni.
Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. If not, get yourself a digital set-top box. Next, connect your set-top box to an aerial and the aerial to your TV. Use RCA cables, yellow for video, red and white for audio, or simply plug in an HDMI cable for high-quality sound and picture. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow the prompts on the screen. And that's it. You're now tuned in to Signet. Sit back and enjoy a wide range of free-to-air digital channels. For technical inquiries, call the Signet hotline on 0770-572-656.
Magharibi mwa Kenya. Maisha ya familia moja maskini yanaelea kwenye ukingo wa taabu.
Umetoa wapi hizi pesa?
Dadi, umeiba.
Mwizi! Wewe ndio mwizi, unaiba mbuzi wangu.
Baba ni mlevi, ameitelekeza familia yake na inayumbayumba.
Leo mimi sijaelewa na bado una raha.
Andrew, adui mkubwa wa familia hii, anaichukia.
Nini mnapigania?
Shamba. Toka mbele yangu wewe.
Pate pesa zetu bwana.
Hauogopi Mungu, hauogopi shetani.
Congratulations Dina.
Nyamaza, wanga kusema daktari anadanganya.
Kwa Josh, kilichosalia ni mzigo mkubwa zaidi kielimu kama atafaulu kujiunga na chuo na kimaisha. Je, atatoboa?
And welcome back to Sports Check. And on this Monday morning, it's the eve of the semi-finals of the Chan Pamoja 2024. Semi-finals to be played tomorrow, Madagascar against Sudan, 5:30 p.m. in Dar es Salaam. 8:30 p.m., it's going to be Morocco against Senegal. Two-time champions against the defending champions. Not one big one. And let's talk about, that match that Morocco played against Tanzania with John Agri-Otieno. Football data is his diet. And Morocco.
Yes.
What stood out for you in that breaking it down for against Tanzania? I don't even want to talk about, I'll finish with the banter part.
Well, I actually think Tanzania pushed them. And I would even say more than Kenya did. And that big crowd in Dar es Salaam really helped their cause in doing that. But Morocco, once again, showing how resilient they are. Remember, they did not go to the last championships because of their issues with Algeria. But before that, they were defending champions. Now they're just bringing back that experience that they had in the tournament. Again, you look at their striker, by the way, he's making his debut in this tournament for his country. Never played for his country before. Already has 4 goals?
4 goals,
yes.
Lamloui.
Yes.
Yes, Osama Lamloui.
Yes. So again, it just shows you how good of a team they have. Again, he won RS Berkane, the CAF Confederations Cup. Yeah. So that just shows you the level of the competition that they bring into this tournament. But away from that, I think Morocco, for me, they look like the most organized team in this tournament. Anytime they have gone behind, they never look like they would concede even another one. I think we're the only ones who have scored against them so far.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so that just shows you how good
No, DR Congo and Zambia also scored, yes.
against them. All right. So it just shows you how well drilled they are for these moments. Yeah.
The banter.
Yeah. Well, I think every of the neighbors is at home, so it balances it out. But the fact that Tanzania went there after we had just lost just gave them an extra edge of motivation, which they hoped to be able to get a win over Morocco, which was not possible. So I would say, I mean, it's good banter that we're able to have these moments, but I'm just looking forward to 2027, how amazing that is going to be, and hoping we're not in the same group. Like I see now Tanzania and Uganda in the same group for the Africa Cup of Nations that is happening now. So I hope we're not in the same group and we're able to meet in like a knockout game. Yes.
Well, let's talk about the other semi-final.
Quarterfinal.
The quarterfinal that was played, Uganda.
Yes.
And there is a story here. It's 1 goal, 1-1.
Yes,
1-0.
everybody lost by
1-0.
Yeah, 1-0, and then as we went into penalties. But I think for
Uganda,
Uganda on that day, I think that's the day I expected Alan Okello to really step up to the plate. I didn't think he played his best game on that day. He's, of course, the tournament's second highest goal scorer now. He has three goals,
Yes.
which is a really good thing. And by the way, I've just seen CS Owalo travel to Uganda. You know what that means.
Okay.
But away from that is, I actually think, again, Uganda, they met better opposition on the day, and rightfully so. Again, remember, it's also the first time ever for Uganda to get into the knockout stages. Well, they've been to every single Chan championship except the first one. So again, it just shows you again the level of competition. And I think Uganda football has also had its own fair share of problems with money and a lot of all the good players leaving, and those who have remained behind are probably not been able to get them to the levels that they want to go to.
Let's now talk about Sudan.
Yeah.
And here they are.
Yes.
They played against Algeria.
Yeah.
1-1 it ended, and eventually it was a story of penalties.
Again, you look at the Sudan goal, it's actually an own goal. Algeria come back really strongly like they have done in this tournament. They've done that even against Uganda. And I think for me, it's the Kwesi Appiah factor. He has made this Sudan team look very different, look very menacing. They are the only team that is still unbeaten, by the way, in this tournament. So I'll be looking forward to how he sets up into the semi-finals. I actually have a sneaky feeling they get to the final, which would be really nice.
Actually, Senegal is the other one.
Yes, Senegal is the other one, yeah. So I really have a sneaky feeling they would get into the final. But for what he has done so far, with all the problems that Sudanese football has, remember these people play their league in Mauritania. So it just shows you how much work he has had to put, even just putting those players together and having a team that can compete.
Just a quick one.
Yes.
Algeria,
yes,
win 3-0 against Uganda,
yes,
and draw every other game.
Yes. When I watched the Algeria-Uganda game, I actually thought these people would just streamroll everyone into the final. And then now every other thing happens. I remember watching the last group game at Nyayo Stadium, which ended 1-1, right? Yeah. Again, I think they are not really the Algeria we really expected to come to the tournament. I think they are kind of bullish about their abilities, which is actually good, but sometimes you've got to be really humble and just put yourself together and get those wins over the line.
Well, your take now, which way will they go?
Wow.
The 5:30 p.m. game tomorrow.
So that is Madagascar, Sudan. Wow. I think Madagascar would get to the final just because of the experience they have and they want to become better than what they had last time, which was third place. So I think that would be extra motivation. I think it's their keeper's last tournament as well, so you'd really want to get there. The other one, Morocco, Senegal, I'd go Morocco for this one. Yeah.
Well, we shall be taking a look at that, and also the draw for the Africa Cup Nations 2025 has been done.
Yeah.
Group A, Morocco, Mali, Zambia, Comoros. Group B, Egypt, South Africa, Angola, Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Group C has got Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. Senegal, DR Congo, Benin, Botswana. Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and Sudan are in E. Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Gabon, Mozambique in Group F, the 21st of December to the 18th of January.
Yes. Wow. I love that Group C, Uganda, Tanzania. I think we've had a moment like this with Kenya, Tanzania in the last Africa Cup of Nations. Again, so another
that was
chance.
In 2019.
2019, yeah. So another chance again for two East African neighbors to try and get one person into the knockout stages. But I think for me, the group that is the most interesting one is where we have Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique. It's actually really, really, really tight. I don't know how that goes. But I think for every other group, for me, Morocco should easily top Group A, without a doubt. And it's not me disrespecting other teams, but I think they have a good team. In Group B, South Africa are back to, I would say.
Okay. What is this thing about South Africa and Egypt meeting in
every other time? Yes.
This is the fourth competition, I think, in a row.
Yes, that they're meeting in the group stage. And you know, before this, South Africa have had their own fair share of troubles of not even qualifying. Now when they qualify, they have to face Egypt every other time.
And it is not just at senior level,
yes,
under 23,
yes,
under 20.
Yes.
That's where they face.
Yeah. So for me, that's a really interesting group because South Africa, Angola, every other time they're meeting in the COSAFA Championships. Now they have to do it again. So I would say Egypt, South Africa for me there. But there's also the Zimbabwe factor. Somehow Zimbabwe always have a better...
Group B is COSAFA.
Yes, COSAFA, literally.
Egypt.
Yes, and Egypt, yeah.
Quick, so let's just fly through this.
Yeah.
Senegal, DR Congo, Benin, Botswana. Who takes that?
Senegal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which would be the other team that would?
DR Congo, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Algeria, Burkina, Equatorial Guinea, and Sudan.
Wow, this is difficult. But Sudan are now looking good, and Algeria for me. Yes.
Very interesting. You know, when you take a look at that draw, you know, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Gabon, Mozambique.
Yeah, that's so difficult. That is so difficult. But
is that what you call the group of death?
I would say so. Yeah, looks to me like the group of death. Yeah.
Well, so there you've had it. John Agriotino, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Breaking down this and also looking ahead to the Cup of Nations. Remember, Chaniko KBC. Tomorrow, bright and early at 3:30 p.m. Dunda, building up to the AFCON, or rather to the CHAN semi-finals. We'll take a break with some of the highlights from the quarterfinals. When we get back, we'll be having a conversation about cycling and conservation.
At the expense of the other as they come face to face in the last 8. Al Hassan now. Oh, great feet from the big man. Oh, what a save. Well, they've been on the back foot. Although the circumstances dictated that they didn't need to try and win it as it's crept towards goal, but and over. Venomous strike. Oh, Algeria almost make the most of it through Mayus. That's the whistle to signal the end of the first half here at the Amman Stadium. He's played most of his career in Algeria. Oh, given away cheaply here. Slid towards goal and on the follow-up. It's been turned in. It's a scrappy goal, but it counts nonetheless. Oh, it's absolute calamity at the back for Algeria. Just 18 years of age is Hussein, as that one's cracked from distance and spilled by the goalkeeper. And he provides the spark here. Oh, it's a brilliant little return ball. He's dinked it towards goal, and it's created an opportunity. Turned in! Algeria have their leveler. Fires it off the bench. The last moment of regulation time. And we will move beyond the 90 into an additional 30 minutes. Good spell here for Algeria. It's a great cross in, and it is met firmly but inaccurately. Jabri's kept it alive here. Plays in the cross. Oh, just wide of the mark. Final whistle sounds, and to penalties we go. Kadir, unperturbed, puts it away. Scored in the shootout in the previous edition's final. Sees his penalty saved as well. Chaya, cool as ice, sends Sudan to the semi-final.
With Senegal's Lions of Terenga. Abase Badji dropping constantly deep to create an extra man in the midfield. Now this is Gaye. Libase Gaye cuts in, takes the shot from distance. Warning bells already ringing here, but Joe Mutakubwa, Alan Okello drifting out on the flank. Doesn't have much support, but will he need it? The little magician plays it back to Abdul Karim Watambala, who lets it fly. Well, he has a patent for those pile drivers, can pack a cannon of a shot here. Watambala. Free kick, hooked in. Mutakubwa will pluck that. Well, it seemed pretty simple, but had to take 2 touches of it to bring it under control. And right on cue, the referee brings the first 45 minutes to a close. Quick restart here from Senegal. To the center of the park, there'll be an attempt for a shot from distance. Dainty little feet forward for Achai. Gets it on from Bande. The cross is in! Well, that could have very easily gone the wrong side of the post. Ayose trying to get to Koita. They lose possession. Ball taken away. Twisting one way or the other. And this is Gaye. Fashions out a cross. And the ball lands beautifully. Chance here. Shot in! And it's the defending champions that draw first blood right here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. Nyofa for Senegal. Only 2 players on the entire team out of the final third. The shot comes in, spilled out here. Himisiwe pumped back in, and it's over the bar for a goal kick. Disbelief from Geoffrey Massa. Kakande to Achai. Achai, the cross is in, and unable to make the mark. And the final whistle. One shot.
Home soil as they take on 2 times.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. Well, it's an eve of the semi-finals of Chan Pamoja 2024. So remember, 3:30 p.m. we start with the Dunda Dunda until very late, until we know who the finalists are going to be. So do not miss the action, because Chan, Iko KBC. Our sign language, our interpreter is our bottom right of your screen, is Ann Wangeshi. We move into a conversation. And this is about cycling. And over the weekend, namjue mtamaliza event yenu mapema. Chan Iko KBC. Final is at 6. So we've got Jeremiah Njanja. He is, with Whistle Tours and Whistle Africa Tours and Events. Karibu. And thank you. Then next to him is Kate Kendi and his right legs. So there is something common about them. They are all into cycling, and we've got the Hell's Gate Biking Fest taking place on the 30th and the 31st of August. So, Jeremiah, let me just start with you. this event being held in the National Park, there's a story from last year. Tell us now what you bring into the current, into 2025.
This is the 4th edition of this event. And this year we are more excited because we have in more numbers, we have more participation from recreational riders, amateurs, because initially we've been doing professional riders mostly. But now this year we've managed to have more numbers and more registrations from amateurs and recreational riders. So this year we're bringing more numbers and also more vibe in terms of our other secondary activities alongside cycling.
All right, and you could just give the vibe around this, because anytime there is a sporting event now, there is always a sub-event or sub-events.
Yeah, sporty people love having fun, and that is what we give them at Hell's Gate Biking Fest. So we have a festival village for spectators and also for cyclists. After you're done with your race, we have a sitting area where you can sit, enjoy a cup of coffee, enjoy a beer. We have food vendors on site. Then we also have music going on for both days. And the highlight of the event is camping, the camping night, whereby we have camping inside the park, right next to the festival village, whereby you can catch a story with your fellow cyclists. We have bonfires, and then we also have a very cool music going on at the camping night.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me come to Kendi. You are with Cycle Africa Bikes, and it's all about how someone gets ready for this event when it comes to a bike. You do not have one here, but take us through every check for example, this Hell's Gate Biking Fest. That's gravel, is what you'd consider. So just take us through that.
So for the event, people will be required to have bikes. For those who also don't have bikes, we have them covered. So we are hiring also bikes and also the protective gears. That is very essential when you're going for rides. You'll need your helmet, your guards, your gloves. So Cycle Africa is there for you. It's going to hire the bikes, the helmets, and also the gears to equip you ready for the ride.
Just take us through preparing. I have my bicycle here. What are the checks first of all, what is required of a gravel bike? Because I would think I can come with my mountain bike, or I may get a specialized gravel bike.
So for the ride, you can either use the gravel bike or the mountain bike, depending on your comfort, how you're comfortable with. So for the gravel bike, you'll need your bike, and then you also need your protective gears, as I said. And for the mountain bike, the difference between a mountain bike and a gravel bike. So for a mountain...
Yeah, that's the first difference.
Yes, so the mountain bike, you can use it off-road and also on-road, and so applies to the gravel bike. But then the difference comes in the tires and also in the stability of the bike. So for the beginners, we usually advise you to take a mountain bike. But then for those who are advanced, we also advise you to take the gravel bike. Yes.
So just give us that little difference as to why somebody who's a beginner should not use a gravel bike.
For someone who's a beginner, they'll use a mountain bike because you move and then you're not stable. So to make you stable, you need to take something that has a wider tire, and that is the mountain bike. So for the gravel bike, the tire is slim. So the stability of it needs you to be so stable in riding a bike, to be professional in mountain bike so that you can advance to gravel.
Let me come to you, Liz, and take us through, you train people to ride, beginners, you do it in the forest. Take us through, that first moment when you are riding and you thought someone was still holding on to that saddle, and then it was gone.
To be honest, I've not had the experience where somebody was holding on and then the saddle is gone.
I'm saying suddenly the hand was gone and you're riding on your own. The first moment, you're trying to balance.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Then, as you're going straight, somebody says, "Wacha ende." When you look back,
I go down. So we try not to get to that. So when you are training somebody, we take them through the basic safety measures that they should take. Say, for example, I'm teaching you how to ride. For the first time, you've never hopped on a bike before. I won't let you go until I see that you are ready and comfortable to go on your own. Nitakushikilia, you tell me niwachilie, I see that you are not ready, I won't let go. But when I feel you are ready, I'll let you go kidogo, nakushikilia kidogo, hivyo. Yeah. So that's how we do it.
And taking somebody through the paces so that they can understand, for example, let's start with, appropriate dressing to avoid, for example, you may have trousers that maybe get caught in the chains and that.
Yeah.
How do you advise somebody when it comes to the gear that they have?
So we advise our beginners to first equip themselves with a helmet if you are not comfortable using the ones we provide, because again, for helmet, much of hygiene is needed. Also, you need to have these head wraps to absorb the sweat, and then you need to have the gloves for better grip, because as you cycle, your hands sweat and you could just slip off. Yeah. Then you need to have a padded biker or the tights, which Cycle Africa sells. So the padded biker help in the comfort your bum, so that you don't hurt yourself or you don't feel uncomfortable after the ride, because sometimes you find that for a first-time cyclist or rather learner, they hold on to the bikes like their lives depend on it. Unajipata umekaa kabisa. Yeah, so that helps a lot. And then you need to have shoes with proper grip, so that you don't keep sliding off, and maybe if
sliding off the pedals.
Yes.
Now, once somebody starts getting through this, what's the kind of experiences that you want them, so that they can, the next thing they do if they're to take part in a, say like the Hell's Biking Fest, is the endurance required for such an event?
So after we've trained you, we don't let you go at that stage of training. Maybe you've done first session, second sessions. We organize an excursion, take you inside the forest or off-road terrains to basically see how you can perform if you decide to join another cycling company, or rather to participate in the event is organizing. Yeah, so also it's good to just see how to engage. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me come to you, Jeremiah, and let's talk about the event. Over 2 days, the distances being covered, and the kind of experience, or how you're going to categorize people, those who may be beginners and those who may be real good at it.
Yeah. So we have day one. Day one is pretty much of warm-ups. We have a shorter race, which is 21 kilometers. 21 kilometers is fit for kids from above 7 years, going all the way to 80s if you're fit at that age. And then we also have, we allow people to ride across the park just for recreational ride in case you're not taking part in the 21 kilometers, so that you can just warm up. Then day two, we have the main race, which is now the 50 kilometers. And the 50 kilometers is inside Hell's Gate National Park. So we cycle from the gate, going all the way up to Olkaria, and then back to the festival village, which is at Fisher's Tower. So that the 50 kilometers is the toughest race of the event. But then we've seen participation from the elderly, from kids, from professional bikers, as well as recreational riders. So our races are all open to both professional and just that weekend recreational rider. Yeah. Let's
give us a whole idea, because once you mention Hell's Gate, people see the rally part of it.
Yes.
But just give us a whole idea about the how much elevation one may get, or if it's basically something what you call a flat course.
Yeah. The 21 kilometers is relatively flat with a small elevation of about 1450. But then the 50 kilometers is a bit tough. The elevation goes all the way to about 3,200. Because happening inside the park, there's rugged terrain, there's very hilly parts of the park, especially the parts that neighbor the Maasai village, the Olkaria side. Yeah.
Can see that. And one of the things is this is a national park. Just give us, the whole working plan, how you bring in the Kenya Wildlife Service, who are the custodians of this park, and the guidelines they give you, so that if anybody is going there, they just know, for example, don't go dumping your plastic up and pale. If you want to have some meat, you don't eat what you eat.
So number one, I would like to thank Kenya Wildlife Service for the support they've given us for over a period of 3 years that we've had the event. Up to this time, we're doing the 4th edition. We have several strategies that we use to make sure that we leave the park as sustainable as we found it. So number one, we have noise management strategy, because we have music going on and it's inside the park. Then we also have a litter management strategy that we do write up, and then it's approved by Kenya Wildlife Service and also Kenya Wildlife Research Institute. So that's why we actually have a festival village where we centralize all these secondary activities to make sure that if you come with you're having food, you can only eat it at the festival village. We prohibit plastics at the event because plastics are not allowed into the Kenya National Parks. So we encourage people to come with refillable water bottles, and cyclists are actually very sustainable because every cyclist has their own bottle on the bike. But for the spectators who come, we normally advocate them to come with the reusable water bottles. Then we also have KWS also taking care of the interaction between the participants and the animals. So they also provide security at the event site to make sure that nobody gets injured or nobody gets to interact with the wildlife. However, I'll say Hell's Gate is a very friendly park. Actually, it's one of the parks that you can walk and cycle even on your own on a normal day. So the animals there are friendly. We only have herbivores. We don't have predators. So it's a very safe park to do such kind of an event.
So, Kate, there is something Liz has mentioned, and it's all about the safety gear. And first of all, we know the gloves, they're absorbent inside. But take us through, these aspects of a helmet and what one should do to make sure that it is affordable. Or can I use the helmet? Najua kama ile ya nduthi, still the same. If I really can't afford a pro helmet like this one.
So at Cycle Africa, we actually look into getting helmets that are affordable for everyone. Let's take, for instance, this one that is here. So this helmet goes for 6,500. But then the safety is on the inside. So there's a caution on the inside.
Actually, there's a camera, so so you can lift it and you can show it. The safety aspects of it.
Yes, so there is a caution inside. So once you fall, the helmet is going to protect your head. You can get a plaster for your hand, but once you get injured on the head, there's no replacing. So the helmet in the inside, it has a cushion. So once maybe you fall, the cushion prevents you from having an injury on the head. So the hiring of the helmet, we are giving it at 500.
Let just handle this. And there is something I've noticed, for example, when you take a look, this, when you put it on, this it's more like, very much like a golf hat. And when you put that, which are the key, when I look at it, it looks, there is some little bit of protection just for the neck. You could just take us these parts in that.
So this part, let's say you have, people have different head sizes. So, let's say for instance, you take this helmet. So, maybe I can show you from putting it on.
Yes.
Once you put it on like this, at the back, this thing you use to adjust it so that it can fit to your head, so that it does not have space. And then once you put it here, you're supposed to have 2 fingers should come here. So it's not tied to the face, and also 2 fingers.
Actually, you can just show us the 2 fingers
here.
For safety, so that it doesn't strangle you.
Yeah, so that it does not strangle you. And also, it's not supposed to be too tight to the head, so that once you fall, you don't break your neck, maybe. Yes.
And it's felt that it's all between the the cushion that is inside and the strapping, it tends to bounce.
Yes.
Now, that is one thing that everyone might get. The other one I asked is, Sasa, kama sijapata hii anduthi, can I use it?
No, you cannot.
Why?
You cannot use that one.
Why?
Because this one is specifically made for the riding of the bikes. But then when you go kwa hiyo ya nduthi, sasa tuseme umeanguka. Okay, that is specifically made for riding motorbikes. So ukianguka, there is that inakuja hadi huko. But then there are also people who do it for enduro. So, but this one...
This one.
Yeah, this one is the one.
And also the aerospaces.
Yes.
Remember your pendulum using your... So you don't want to use a lot of energy. Ile anduthi iko so much resistance to the wind. And this one has these holes where air passes through. So it's breathing your head and also allowing you to
air conditioning
faster.
and it also helps
Yes.
cut through the winds. And Liz, let me come to you now. Preparing for a competition, you're a cycling coach, so I know you want to do the 50K. Preparing for an event like this, because, or even, yes, why not? Or basically preparing for an event like this, in the build-up to the weekend, what's the process that everyone must go through?
For those
for one, mainly I'm looking more towards the pro side, because for the amateurs,
yeah, for us, like we mentioned that we train amateurs, total beginners. So for you to build the endurance, we take you through different terrains, different kilometers. We can start with a 10 km, 20 km, like that, until you get where you feel you are comfortable to participate in such a race. Alternatively, if we are not going to race, we go for the vibes. You do the family trails, less than 50K, yeah.
Now, on race day, I have been with marathoners, and their race day breakfast is something you find a little bit unusual. What's a cyclist's race day breakfast? I mean, meal in the morning. What is it that they take?
Wow. For me, I take lots of proteins, yes. Yeah, I don't know whether a nutritionist will agree with that. I don't know.
What would you advise? I mean, given that you're going to do 50 km, I'm just trying to imagine for those who take breakfast, you know, size kama ya hii, heavy, and the digestion starts 1 hour later and you're cycling, utaweza. What's the best way to manage?
So mostly, just like Lisa said, proteins. Something that will stick in your stomach but won't be so heavy to avoid issues with your stomach when you're pedaling. Then some cyclists will also go for a lot of fruits. Then even in the race, we have a fruit break. We have a watering point where we provide water and also fruits. Because fruits are needed. They're not heavy on your stomach, but at least they can keep your stomach engaged. So you need food that will help you to have that endurance while on the bike, but not too heavy in your stomach. Yeah.
Well, which is very, very critical for it. And Candy, now, looking at how things that everyone must have if you're going to do a race like this, you say even if it's a 21-kilometer race, the short one, what is it that you must have? You see, the cycling kits have got very many pockets. What is it that you must have in case you need to fix something on your bike?
In case you need to fix anything on your bike, you usually need a Allen key, a pump, which is so essential, and also the puncture kit. So the puncture kit, you'll use it maybe when you're racing and you get a puncture. You can stop, and we'll be having mechanics actually. So you can just stop, and then the mechanic can come and fix it for you. But the essential, you need to have Allen key, a pump, and in general, a toolkit. Yes.
How heavy should the toolkit be?
The toolkit is usually small. So it's a small size. Inside it has a pump, it has an Allen key, the tire levers, and also the puncture kit. So it's quite small. It looks like a small water bottle. So you can put it where you usually put your water bottle, There are some bikes which are, you can put 2. So you can put a water bottle at the front, and then at the frame, which is at the back, you can put the toolkit. Yeah.
And for you to maintain that, to ensure that, for example, if you're going to go through gravel, how do you check if your tires look right?
For you to check if your tires look right.
I mean, the grip, you know, if you ukikana tire kinakaa kama ulimi, the cop will definitely do this, and you can't reach gravel. So just take us through that.
On the tire, you can see the patterns on it. So if your tire is worn out, you need to replace it. So for you to have a smooth ride, you need to have a tire that has good grip. So you have to check if your tire is smooth. Kama imekuwa smooth sana, and it had some patterns on it, you need to change it.
All right. So Jeremiah, for anyone who'd like to register for this, I mean to participate in this event at pro level, what's in it for them, and also how do they get to you?
So for the professional riders, the registration is on our event website, which is www.hellsgatebikingfest.com. That's www.hellsgatebikingfest.com. Then the registration starts from 2,500. That is for one race. For 2 races, if you would like to do 50 and 21, is 4,000. Then you also have in a group discounts for group of 5, teams of 10. And then what's in it for you? That registration is inclusive of the park entry fees. It's inclusive of access to the festival village. Then we also have cycling medals. And then there's a cash prize for the professional riders in the 50-kilometer race, which is 100,000 in total, to be distributed to both winners in the women and men category. Yeah.
So there is some money to be made over the weekend. That's on Sunday.
That's on Sunday.
All right. One last thing, and I want you to speak to us, because when you say you operate from Karura,
yes,
conservation is something that I would like you to close with, especially in national parks and these green spaces that we have.
In regards to conservations, like he did mention about plastics. Plastics are a menace. So we encourage our students or any other cycling or anyone accessing the national parks. Leave your plastics at home, leave your plastic wraps at home, and carry something that is reusable. If you have a wrap that is plastic, unwrap whatever you want to eat, beba uchafu yako, peleka nyumbani. Yes.
Watu watabeba sausage sasa ya kuchoma. It's always in a plastic wrap, but thank you very much. Jeremiah, Janja, Kid Candy, and Nightleys. The Hell's Gate Bike Fest is over the weekend. 50 km? That would be some way to unwind after Chan 2024. Thank you very much for being with us over the past 2 hours. Our sign language interpreter has been Ann Wangeshi. My name is Daniel Wahome. Coming up next, Kurunzi Mashinani and Tamrini.
Mimi hutumia mbolea inayoitwa Elgon Dhabiti DAP kwa upanzi wa mimea yenye afya bora. Halafu natumia mbolea ya Dhabiti CAN ama Dhabiti Urea kwa ukuaji wa mimea bora. Hii imenisaidia kupata mavuno mengi nikilinganisha na siku za hapo mbeleni.
Mbolea ya Elgon Dhabiti inapatikana kwa viwango vya kilo 10, 25 na kilo 50 kote nchini. Elgon Kenya Limited.
at craft, certificate and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Wahome turns left, fires home. Kenya lead.
The ongoing CHAN 2024 is intriguing.
Well, after the VAR check, it's been ruled out. It's not a goal.
CAF's flagship tournament attracts over 1.4 billion TV audiences and 2.2 billion digital streams, making it one of the top 4 global football events.
Full time, and Kenya have done the unthinkable. They go undefeated through the group stages in the group of death.
To our esteemed sponsor and partner, numbers don't lie. To the 12th man in Kenya and globally, it is not boasting if you can back it up. We salute you. Let's keep doing it the way we know how. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Given away cheaply here, slid towards goal and on the follow-up, it's been turned in! Now it's a blind pass played. It might go down as a Ghazala own goal. Mohamed Abuja claims the man of the match accolades. One of the very few not playing for the big two. He represents Al Zamala.
Game time. No room for error between these two sides because only up for grabs is that place in the semi-finals. Senegal, a team that's been to the top of the mountain and knows exactly what they need to do to execute, faces off with the ambitious Uganda Cranes. Youthful batch who have set history and written their names in the annals of Ugandan football, managing to qualify and make it out of the group stages. 6 attempts they had and fallen short. It had to wait for the moment it came home at the Nelson Mandela Stadium, where they finally able to pull it off. Now, can they go a step further? With the tickets selling out in barely 8 hours. When
Silence engulfed the Nelson Mandela National Stadium in Kampala after co-host Uganda were eliminated in the quarterfinals of the 2024 edition of CHAN by defending champion Senegal, whom they pushed all the way to lose by a solitary goal as the Lions of Teranga set up a semi-final match against the Atlas Lions of Morocco.
The Cathedral of about sports in Uganda, the Nelson Mandela Stadium for the next 90 minutes and beyond, if need be, will now play host and witness to the quarterfinals of the 8th edition of the African Nations Championships. Gavin Chizito Mugweri and Regan Mpande, some of the youngsters that have now been blooded to come of age and have earned the right now to take on some of their would-be idols, titans in every right. And once again, they'll be tested out here in the next couple of minutes. And all hopes will be pinned on the playmaker-in-chief, Alan Okello, shot 21. He's been the maestro and will now pit his weights against the very best here from Senegal. With Kenya having been dumped out yesterday, as well as Tanzania, East Africa's sole representative in the Pamoja tournament is now Uganda, and they do have quite the task ahead of them. Senegal will be intent on making sure that they make it once again to the semi-finals and attempt to retain their crown. The match is in a couple of seconds, but for now we pay allegiance to the two nations and their national anthems.
Please,